Hello dear students, welcome to Devika's Commerce and Management Academy. Company liquidation. Here two things will be preparing. One is statement of affairs, second one is liquidators final statement of account. Statement of affairs who will prepare? By the company staff itself only. Who are related to the company, they'll be preparing the statement of affairs. Once if it is ready, then that will be statement of affairs will be handed over to the liquidator. Then liquidator is going to prepare this final statement of account. Liquidator's final statement of account. What is this? This is just like cash book. All the receipts on the left side, all the payments on the credit side. Cash book. While liquidating the company, whatever he gets, realizing the asset, surplus, something, etc., whatever he gets, everything is written on the receipt side, that is left side. And he has to make some payments also. All the payments will be on the credit side. Remember one thing, payments cannot be done as per his wish. There is an order. That order he has to follow. So particular order. Preference will be given to whom? Okay, realized and so and so amount received through liquidation. This amount is to be disbursed. This amount is to be paid off. To whom will pay? First preference to whom? Like there is an order. Pro forma you have to follow. You cannot simply make payment just like a cash book, receipts, payments, debit side. Anywhere you used to write, right? Single column cash book, double column, triple column cash book, wherever you want you used to write. But it is not like that. You have to follow certain pro forma. Now I'll tell you, you have to by heart it today. The next class onwards will work out problems. So receipt side, what do we write? First one is assets realized. Selling the assets. When selling the assets, that's called as assets realized. Assets realized, under that two columns will be there, two items. One is cash in hand, cash at bank. You know it. Okay, cash in hand, cash at bank. Whatever it is there, it is as it is. And second one is other assets. Rest of the assets. Selling the assets and whatever amount we are getting it, that is other assets. So these two comes under the assets realized. Assets realized is the first point, you have to write it on the receipt side. Second one is surplus from securities. Securities is he is selling it. Once if he is selling securities, some surplus sometimes you get. Surplus means income. So that income will be on the receipt side. Surplus from securities. Second point. First one is assets realized and surplus from securities. Third one is calls in arrears realized. Calls in arrears realized means sometimes you may get income also. So whatever you get through the calls, extra amount is there. So that is calls in arrears realized. Third point. And last one is calls in contributors realized. Contributors realized means who are nothing but shareholders only. So these people are shareholders. Whenever company is having lots of losses, if shareholders any amount is due is there, they have to pay off it. So when they are paying it, that called as a calls on contributors realized. They have to contribute. So this amount is also receipt, no? So debit side we are writing. Remember only 4 items on the debit side. Number 1, though we don't write numbers for your reference, for making you to understand and easily, for that purpose I am writing number 1. First point is assets realized. Assets realized means cash in hand, cash at bank and assets. Okay, various assets, other assets. Number 2, surplus from securities. And calls in arrears. Realized. Last one, calls on contributors realized. Contributors means shareholders. Whenever shareholders are contributing, that is calls on contributors realized. 4 amounts on the debit side, receipt side. Easy. Now coming to the payments. Little bit careful. Payment side. First, we are going to make payment to the liquidators remuneration. First payment. This is number 1. Liquidators payment remuneration. This remuneration is on assets realized and amount distributed. Both. We have learned it how to calculate this on amount distributed. So assets realized some percentage will be given. Unsecured creditor some amount is will be given. Anyhow, liquidators remuneration is to be first to pay. Pay first to liquidator remuneration because he is working for the company. Unless he gets the salary, he doesn't work. So liquidators remuneration first. Then after that, next preference will be given to the liquidation expenses. Second point. Related to the liquidation time, whatever expenses are, that is to be paid off. First preference liquidator remuneration. Second preference is liquidation expenses. Then after that, debenture holders will be given the third preference. Third preference will be given to the debenture holders. Debenture holders, we are writing in separately debentures amount and interest outstanding. If interest is not paid, debentures amount you have to pay off and also the interest, both. So after liquidators remuneration, liquidation expenses, debenture holders will give the preference. Debenture holders, actual amount of debentures and also interest, outstanding interest. If debenture holders are paid off, if any amount is left over, then we'll be giving preference to the preferential creditors. Remember, after debenture holders, creditors. Who are the creditors? Preferential creditors. Preferential creditors, fourth preference. After preferential creditors, unsecured creditors. Preferential creditors first will pay off after the debenture holders. Creditors two types, preferential, unsecured. Preferential first, then after that unsecured creditors. Unsecured creditors after the preferential creditors. Creditors are over. Next, preference shareholders. Coming to the shareholders. Liquidators remuneration, liquidation expenses, debenture holders, and here creditor. Creditors are preferential and unsecured. Now coming to the shareholders, preferential shareholders. Preferential shareholders. Preferential shareholders also two types. Actual amount to be paid for the preferential shareholders. What is their investment? That is first. Then after that, if dividend is not paid, outstanding dividend, that is to be paid together. So we are saying about preferential shareholders, sixth point. So this is preferential shareholders, sixth point. Then lastly, equity shareholders. Equity shareholders last. This order you have to remember. Easy to remember. First one, liquidators remuneration. Remuneration like this: assets realized and amount distributed. Liquidators remuneration, then liquidation expenses. After liquidation expenses, debenture holders. Debenture holders actual debentures amount and interest to be paid on debentures. Debentures, then after that creditors. Creditors two types, preferential creditors first, then after that unsecured creditors. Then preferential shareholders. Preferential shareholders also their amount, their capital investment and also dividend to be paid, outstanding dividend. After preferential creditors, then equity shareholders. This order you have to remember. You may be getting a doubt that secured creditors, where is secured creditors? Creditors secured means some asset is attached to these people. So those assets the liquidator will sell and it will be paid off. They have secured asset is there. So that asset is selling and paid off to them. So that is why it doesn't comes under the final statement of account. Are you getting it? Secured we don't take because secured. That will be paid off, that will be settled over there only. It doesn't come here. If any extra remuneration is there, suppose secured creditors are, shall I take black marker? Suppose secured creditors are 70,000, 70k. Secured creditor, some asset is attached to them. So when we are selling the asset, 80k we got, 80k extra. This rest of the 10,000 will be returned to the company for utilization of the payment. So like this, it will be settled over there only. That is why we are not taking the secure creditors. Rest of the everything comes over here. Am I clear? So receipt side only 4 items: assets realized, surplus from securities, and calls in arrears realized, and calls on contributors realized. Okay, 4 points. Credit side, payment side, liquidators remuneration, liquidator expenses, liquidator remuneration, liquidator expenses, debentures. Then after that creditors. Then after that creditors means preferential and unsecured. Then preferential shareholders. Lastly equity shareholders. Points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 points. This order you have to remember. If you remember this, and adjustments like calculation of what is that remuneration to be paid to the liquidator, that we have seen in the short problems, in the same fashion we have to work out. Screenshot? Yes. Be thorough so far whatever we have done. Next class onwards we'll have the practical problems. Okay, so prepare well, check out the playlist of our channel. Whatever is useful, use it, and do share this video. See you in the next class. Good luck.